creeps, and welcome to Creepy Confidential After Dark. I'm Noelle, the weirdo Wisconsinite and host of Creepy Confidential. I want to start by thanking the Creep Nation for tuning in tonight. Very important because I have some great guests for you. Before we get going, though, I want to remind our listeners to please like and subscribe to our YouTube and social media pages. And we want to make sure that you do not miss out on any sort of content, any sort of merch or announcements. We want you there. And we want Creepy Confidential to be your one-stop shop for all your creepy content. Now, just to remind everybody, the Library Lectures Tour is taking off finally next month with Paranormal 101. The very first stop, Appleton, Wisconsin, of course, because I am a Wisconsinite. Now, Paranormal 101 covers types of hauntings, types of entities, and the methods of investigation, as well as the golden rules of ghost hunting, or what I think is the top 1, 2, and 3 of those golden rules. Tickets are free, but seating is limited, so you must have a ticket. Very important. They're very exclusive. Columbus is already sold out, and Appleton is at 90%. So you might want to grab tickets if you're in Appleton, Wisconsin. Now, After Dark is a place for us here at Creepy Confidential to introduce guests and to discuss anything in the fringe and Fortean world. It's our chance to learn and talk shop with our fellow creators, and it kind of gets us a chance so that we can talk about the world of weird and lower that veil, but in the real world. Tonight, Creepy Confidential welcomes Toxic Icon. Now, Toxic Icon is the duo made up of Nick White and Yerrty G, and these haunt actors are from St. Louis, Missouri. Now, these guys specialize in life and culture in the haunt and horror communities. I cannot wait to talk to them and talk shop about their experiences and what creeps out the creepers. Very important. So tonight, also, questions are going to be answered from our Creep Nation and also from the Toxic Icon family as well. So make sure you leave a comment, speak up, and say it in front of the whole class, and then watch that screen because your comment may be featured. So without further ado, on to the show. Sup, creeps, and welcome to Creepy Confidential. Is Mothman really a supernatural force predicting impending doom? Did Apollo 11 really land on the moon in 1969? Did you find out if that was a cult that was living just 2 doors down that you waved to every single day when you got your mail? If these are the things you ponder when you should be sleeping, then I would like to welcome you to Creepy Confidential. I'm your host, Noelle, your resident weirdo Wisconsinite. I open case files on my favorite cryptids, cults, conspiracies, and other worldly creepy, with new cases, live broadcasts, and local lore. Some stories have been lost with time. Others are perhaps still happening today in your local communities, right up under your very creepy noses. So get ready, creeps. It's Creepy Confidential. Sup, creeps. Welcome back, everybody. Now, if you'll notice, we have one of them in the shadows. We can thank lighting for that, but welcome, Nick and Yerrty G of Toxic Icon.
Hello.
What up? Who do we have on camera? Oh my gosh. He had to. Anybody who doesn't like clowns? What's up? What's up?
I am honored to be on your show.
I am so stoked to have you guys now in my house, which I am very excited for. Now, people that are tuning in
your house,
right? This is my house. This is the creep's house, Queen Creep, if you will. Now, if you've been watching our feeds, you may have noticed that I was over on their channel not too long ago talking about the paranormal, bringing a little bit of information, a little bit of cool, creepy stories. And now it's their turn. I have my handy dandy cards with all kinds of interesting questions. We're going to be watching the comments and I cannot wait. So before we get going though, guys, tell us a little bit about yourselves. How is this, world, and what did you start?
Nick, you want to take it away?
Yerrty, take it away.
Okay. All right. So pretty much Nick and I, we are both haunt actors. I appreciate that. I don't feel famous, but I appreciate that, Ghost Dog. But yeah, we're both haunt actors at the Darkness out here in St. Louis. I've known Nick for, I honestly don't even know how many years.
You guys just good buddies that just feels like forever, right?
Yeah, he came in as I was on my way out the door to go work at our sister haunt Lynn Brewery. Then I came back in 2018 and we started our version of the Icon Squad that we currently have outside now.
Okay.
And fast forward to 2023, we had a conversation about what we wanted to do, and then it just took off from there.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
I definitely it really has taken off in a different trajectory. I think Yerrty and I always challenge each other to come up with more out of this world ideas. We don't want to do anything that is in the box. I feel like, and Yerrty, if you disagree, please let me know, but I feel like you and I definitely think as vast as we can, and then we will scale back depending on where we really are as a platform.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's kind of how we come up with just some of the really cool things, but none of it would have happened if we hadn't, been in the trenches together in the haunted house. We really we've put in our time, but still putting in our time, it definitely has pulled us to where we are.
Okay. Super cool. I think because it's often maybe you have friends and you're into totally different things. So it's cool that you guys have something very big and important. So, we got Icon Nation. I see it. Miss Joanna. Now, Miss Joanna, you guys will giggle. Joanna, I'm enjoying my iced coffee beverage. It's delicious.
That's right, Joanna. Noelle's enjoying her iced coffee.
I have to.
With heavy screams.
I believe kids call that trolling.
Yeah.
So
we call that trolling as well.
Yes, iced coffee with heavy screams, Joe.
Yeah. So because it's iced coffee with heavy screams. Now, I have to show up. We went to HorrorCon last weekend, and I joined them as they were walking around. I kept walking around while they stepped out, and I have this super cool tiki glass, but it has a dark theme. It says "Catch a Grave." And I have to give them a shout out because everything they had was so cool, in case you guys see it. And it is the Black Lagoon Room in Milwaukee. And it's awesome. Awesome. So that's my cool beverage. So anywhoozle, back to creepy stuff, shall we? I had to give them a shout out. I promised I would. So tonight, I have put together some questions. And these are new for the people who are here that are return customers. And I think that this was a good little change because the cool part is we have something in common. I myself used to be a haunt actor as well. Now, it's been a very long time, but I can at least I've done a couple locations, a bunch of characters. I hopefully have that in common with you guys. So I want to get to my first question. Now, what made you guys want to become specifically a haunt actor? Like, not to own one, but to be an actor.
So the story is kind of similar for both of us. We had a hunt experience, and it just kind of pushed the drive.
Mm-hmm. More trolling, but it pushed the drive anyway.
It did push the drive because I was 12 years old. I went to, ironically, a hunt that our boss now owns, TerraVisions, but before it was even connected to the Darkness. And it scared the life out of me because I felt like I had no control over my life at that point in time.
Okay.
But also I saw how much fun the actors were having that I needed to do it. So I went to auditions every single year after that.
Just trying to get in. I'm gonna sit back here. I gotta get in this.
Yeah, because I was too young.
Get into it. I will say for me, so coming up as a kid, I actually always had a love for roller coasters. That was my first true passion.
Okay.
And so, with roller coasters, you're in and out of the theme parks. I went to Fright Fest at Six Flags St. Louis long time ago, and as a kid, it was very intense, and I was chased by an actor. Um, as I was chased by the actor, and as I was truly, being very scared, the atmosphere that was around the park, the purple and pink lighting, the fog in the air, just that ambiance that Halloween gives off. I really fell in love with what an attraction can do when it pulls that vibe. And so with that, I just continued to go to Fright Fest, and as I got older, I started to venture out and go to a lot of more independent haunted houses and things like that. And I just kind of fell in love with the atmosphere surrounding it. Just people are there to have a good time. Yeah, they're scared, but also there are people behind these attractions that have truly sat down and have created these immersive environments with just ideas, just simple ideas.
Engineered it out. Yep.
And that's really what made me want to act. Obviously it made me want to own my own haunted house one day, but you don't just get there without putting on a costume. You got to work your way up to that.
You gotta
put some skin in the game.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I see. And so you guys started with the attraction, and for me, you guys haven't known me long, but I've been this way forever. I've been weird and into the strange. I'm not super gothy, like the traditional goth looking, but I think my mentality is a little bit. So I've always, the minute Halloween was put in front of me as a little kid, I was like,
that was it. Yeah,
that was it. I can build costumes. I can be characters. I can get out of this dorky Wisconsin, muggle day life, and I was hooked. So I find it interesting, kind of where everybody starts in the scale.
Wisconsin.
Now, that was Yerrty, you mentioned this a little bit because you mentioned your age. So this question is, when did you first get into the haunt scene? And I wrote age, and I even wrote a little note because Yerrty, you've mentioned that before, that you were 12. You were super duper young. And for me, I was in the 8th grade, so that's not much thereafter for the haunted hay rides.
13 or 14,
yeah, that's young. What about you, Nick?
Ironically enough, it was 12.
Yeah,
I was in the 6th grade.
It's like when our brain starts to.
It's when you start to realize just there's something else. To go back to that Fright Fest story, to be honest with you, I was at Six Flags during the day. I didn't even know. Not that I didn't know what Fright Fest was, but I paid the decorations around the park during the day no attention. I had no idea what was going to happen when the sun went down.
They had a Fright Fest in Tacoma, Washington when I lived out there. I did not act at that particular one, at a different place. But the Fright Fest there was done pretty well. It was done it's like a theme park. It's kind of like a Six Flags. I can't remember, Enchanted Forest or something like that. But they always hung this huge spider from the side of the roller coaster you could see from the highway. And I was like, oh, I love it. So it seems like we're all in the same wheelhouse. Probably different backgrounds, maybe how we grew up and what we, how we acted, but seems like same time frame. So speaking of attractions, that's why I did this one. So what was your first official haunt attraction? So not like, a backyard or a haunted hayride like I did. What was your first attraction? And 2-part question. Do you remember what character you played? Either one of you.
For me, it was the Darkness, the haunted house that I currently shed blood, sweat, and tears for. Absolutely. I was in a robe. I remember. I think they had me dressed as like a monk of some sort. Like a scary monk of some recollection. Our first floor at the haunted house has always been themed to be more of like a let's say if Indiana Jones met true horror. So very,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh
very
my God, I need that
Egyptian.
movie. Like, I've never seen all the Indiana
Yeah.
Jones movies, but I know the I know, don't come for me because
Yeah.
my husband's gonna be like, you need to say them. We do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the parts that I have seen, like the whole pulling out of the heart and all that, that was like, and the eating of the monkey brains, that
Yeah.
was like, that was horror level.
Yeah.
That wasn't just
And I-
adventure level.
And I feel like that's probably where they got some of the inspiration from. But either way, that was my my first attraction was my home haunt that I'm currently at, and that was kind of the character that I play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
That one's that because that's the one, right? Where they're
That's-
like
that's
doing all
the
the
one.
chanting and the blood and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
with I don't know his nationality, so I'm just gonna say South American. With the
Sure.
South American little boy. And he's like,
Mhm.
hey Andy, Dr. Grant, and you know.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're like. I haven't seen, like I said, all of them in their entirety, but I have
Right.
I've seen enough where I'm like, those parts are scary.
Yes.
So you did that was a same attraction? You did the same
Yeah,
one?
yeah. So my first one.
Because you guys were together.
Yeah,
Well,
so
not-
my first
you know
one
what I
was the darkness because ironically, so things have changed now because there's more attractions like further out west and further south and all of that. But like at the time that I started, our boss, aka the owner Larry, he owned every haunted house in the St. Louis area. And
Monopoly.
at the time it was the darkness, it was Creepy World, which at the time was called Scream World. And then
Tombstone.
Yeah, Tombstone, which is out in Imperial. But
Right on.
he brought Tombstone out to Creepy World and made it a hayride attraction. Because as a standalone, it didn't get enough foot traffic.
Okay. I think because it's almost like if the theme's not right, or they don't do enough publicity, or it's just in the wrong spot. Like
That's what it was.
Location.
That's what it was. It was in the wrong location because it was
Mhm.
it was like South County, St. Louis, but like further south, where where I'm talking about where there's houses, one house every 2 miles.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like rural.
Yeah.
Very rude.
So apparently the little boy in Indiana Jones was Asian.
Okay. I didn't want to say the wrong thing because
didn't know either.
we're in that time where people get upset.
Well,
Way to
this is my
respect.
channel. We can be wrong. It's okay. Doesn't mean we're being hateful.
Right. Y'all heard that? Y'all can't count me.
Right. All right. Go ahead. But yeah, it made me remember because that was like the first big one is I think the one that sticks with you most is that because you're not a small scale, you're not small fry, and now I look back and the one it's called the Fright Factory, and I think it's out in Buckley, which was also a rural area, but when I was first out there, it felt small, but it had really good like lots of people coming through it, and now it's like the ones that you guys do, where it has the animatronics and this and that, and I remember it had a couple makeup artists, airbrush, basic appliances, and it was all about costumes and lighting and rooms, like design. So it was It's always wild. That was where I think I've mentioned it before, the one with the fire and the skin falling off. That was my first big character. Yeah, people are afraid of getting burned alive, myself included.
Me too.
I tell Joanne all the time on the burner face.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so I have, speaking of haunt moments, so what was your years now doing it, because it sounds like you guys have been doing it for quite some time, what is your proudest actor moment? And this is like, was it that you got into a location? Was it that you built this certain character? It can be anything like that. Like, what's your proudest moment?
Okay, I got it.
You got it? All right, you go first.
So for me, my second year, Yerrty square up. So my second year, I won Actor of the Year. I won Best Makeup of the Season also. So there's
Self-applied? You did that? Like you created it?
Yeah, and
Cool.
this is pre-silicone mask.
Right.
Because now you can't pay me to wear makeup. But
People
but
like, I don't want to do that.
like there was so much there was so much that I was taught from my superiors. So like they taught me how to apply oatmeal to the latex, ball of tissue,
texture.
things like that. And they
You got to pull that 2-ply apart though.
Exactly. And they also taught me how to use rigid collodion as well.
There's so many cool tricks. Like people don't realize it, and they're fairly simple tricks, but the result,
Exactly.
so cool.
Something so small could go a long way.
Can go along. I still like using oatmeal in latex if I have to do something that needs that texture. People don't even, and you can grind it up if you want different textures. I love it. Oh my God, don't get me going about scare makeup. I love it. What about you, Nick? Proudest haunt moment.
Proudest actor moment.
Moment.
Honestly, my proudest actor moment would be when I got the green light to join the outside crew as a Q line actor. Mm-hmm. You know, and I want to, before I even go into my story about this, for any haunters that watch this, a lot of people feel that being in the Q line means that you're better than everybody, or that you have this like, you know, egotistical thing above everybody else inside. And Yerrty and Yerrty and I's main goal is to make sure that everybody feels unified. You know, we're out there, but we want to get people ready to see the show, you know?
Exactly.
And for me, when I started at the haunted house, I think I acted inside for 6-7 years before I finally got the nod. And I had been trying even when I came into it, but you got to know, when I came into it, I had no idea that was something you worked your way up to. Mm-hmm. So I have been told, well, if you want to go outside, we need to see you act all around the haunted house. We want to see how versatile you are. Can you improvise? How can you think on the fly and things like that?
Because it's just an open space.
And when they finally gave me a chance, they said, just to let you know, this really isn't like being inside. And my head was big at the time. I was like, man, I'm going out here. When I tell you, I walked around the corner and saw 1,000 people in the line with their phones on record, and no, there's no scenes, no props. It's you and the crowd. You and
whatever you have on your body. That is it.
And so I had to go out there. So you better be
amazing.
Yeah, and my first night, I said I wasn't that good, and then I was like, don't put me in yet. Give me another night. Went out there the other night and started to, you don't get it without just being thrown out there. So that was a proud actor moment, because it did show me that I was trusted. You want to feel that from your management.
You're vetted, and I think it's worse today because people are so flaky, and so true. If you do get that like stamp and you're vetted and they trust you to do that, that's huge. That is huge.
See, it was different for both of us because, well, first things first, pretty much everyone that's on the Icon Squad outside, minus Charlie, has been essentially Great Darkness. So we've all come from management.
True.
So we've all done everything that we can do, and this is the last thing that we can do now.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, I was iconing before iconing got introduced to darkness, because as a section guy, I used to go outside, and then when I went over to Limb Brewery for 6 years, I always went outside. But I didn't know it was such thing as being an icon. I was just taking advantage of the leadership role that I had.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's what it is. I mean, it's what's the big one here? Blood Prison, and they have that really tall chick. I mean, she's been there like QB in the world of haunts, forever, because she is the face of that haunt. So it is.
And you need those people. And the crowd knows those people, and people will come back and buy tickets if they know you're there.
Just for that person, and and now you read the comments. They're like, saw her for 30 seconds. She came out, did her scream, and was gone. I'm like, what? The line actors used to be the ones, because you were hustling. You were going up and down all night long. I was not. I like rooms, and so it's fine. But they were hustling, and they were tired. I mean, all the actors were tired, but
as a line actor, it's on.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there is no
Bluetooth speakers.
downtime unless it's a slow night.
Right.
Yeah, and it's rare, unless
And
it's
people
crappy
are
outside.
consistently coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent.
Yeah, I thought so. That's sounds like similar. I like I was curious about what your proud moment was. I think the line actor is a big deal.
It is a big deal, especially because to go back to what Nick said about us not being better than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anyone to take this any type of way, but I do believe that as used to be section leaders and break roomers, that we are top tier actors because we're not just goofy people that are just taking pictures and doing dumb stuff. Like
it's important.
We actually scare people out there.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I'm excited to at some point be able to see you guys in a haunt. Now I know Miss Joanna's in the comments and she's scaredy cat just based upon that little kid walking around the floor. So I have a feeling she's good. It'll be a fun journey if her and I go together. But I think it would be fun to see.
Should make that happen.
Yeah, it's we've chatted about it outside of this.
Absolutely.
Now, talking about characters, like that line actress that we were talking about, do you prefer, even if you had it your way, would you prefer to keep a character that you built and just live it, breathe it, build it, like it becomes you and you become it? Or do you prefer the creativity of constantly being able to make a new character or be given a new character that you have to figure out, like an improv situation? Which one, if you have to fit, which one?
Say, if we would have done this stream 8 months ago, I would have told you that I want to stick with my character and really become that character and just live that character.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed when we went to Hillside House of Hell, Glenwood, Iowa. Shout out to our Hillside family. We love them, and we'll be up there in May. When we went up there and acted at their event last summer, I noticed that there were a few times throughout the night, because we were granted the opportunity to be a part of their line squad that evening. So there were a few times where I was walking around and I just felt like I was kind of walking aimlessly, and that I really wasn't pushing that character enough. I pushed it when the camera. Yeah, like if there was a camera on me, obviously I pushed it because I know as a line actor, you're being recorded. This is going to show up somewhere and you're representing this attraction. So you got to do something. But when there wasn't, as in theater, what they say that the show must, always must go on.
Absolutely.
I wasn't pushing hard enough. And I started thinking about, okay, I need to do something to re-spark myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say that fresh. I will keep that character in the vault for whenever I want to do it again. Mm-hmm. But hence you end up making other things and experimenting so that you can come up with different things that stay, fresh.
Yeah. Real quick, Yerrty, before you say something, we have somebody trying. So your coffee isn't done yet, creep. No, but it's delicious.
She is over there
drinking her coffee.
She is fiending for coffee right now.
Caffeine, coffee, a little cream. Actually, it does have heavy cream in it.
Ooh,
I'm going to 7 Brew before we head to Days of the Dead tomorrow, Joanna.
So anyway, we had to give a little what's up. So Yerrty, what do you think? Are you a build a character, keep it, live it, or are you like the creativity of a new skin?
So my answer is truly split, because when I came back to darkness, I was a zombie. And I wanted to evolve that zombie because a lot of the customers will say, you look like Toxic Avenger. Yeah, he had like a bumpy face, a big old...
it was like, yeah,
and it was green and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we had this section of the hunt called the Hive, which was like post-apocalyptic, radioactive things like that.
Oh,
So I was that character for a full season. I tried to push it the second season, and of course, management well, Yerrty, you know, we really like you being a clown. They tried to coerce me into doing it. And I said, fuck it, I'll be a clown again. Because I was a clown for a very long time. And
so do you like that character though?
I actually do love that character, but I have how do I say this? I have a love-hate relationship with the clown character because there's so many people, specifically Q-line actors. They are all clowns. They all have the long hair.
Yep. I was wondering if that's where you were going because I was like, there's like a gajillion of them.
The little booty chin, all that. For real. I'm just saying, like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that because a lot of the people
I say it's testicle chin because they look like two testicles.
Yeah, matter of fact, remember the episode of Rick
I'm sorry, that's crude. But
remember the episode of Rick and Morty where it was Scary Terry and his chin looked like a ball sack?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like don't get me wrong, a lot of the Q-line actors that are clowns are extremely great at what they do. It's just not for me anymore because I evolved that character. I went through about 4 to 5 different masks in the evolution of my old character, which is named Apocalyptic.
Okay, so you named that character.
Yeah, and then I came
like Bubbles. You guys know Bubbles. I named Bubbles. Yeah. So,
and then I
think every clown is like that.
So. Yeah. So the doll character I kind of let go because I experimented a few times. I had a onesie on and everything. I gave him a complete backstory. He had parents and everything. I let that character go. And I now have Father Jerome. I also have a Frankenstein-like character who I haven't given a name.
Okay. So you kind of dabble.
Yeah, because my thing is I always want to have a lot in the arsenal because if we go to a specific hunt, like let's just say we go to, I'll say Dent, for example. What if there's no clowns? Then I have other characters that I can pull from.
So then you're like, I have this. So, I mean, it's like an actor having, skills, either knowing just how I can speak a foreign language, I can, cry on cue, whatever. So that makes sense.
So so to answer this question, yes, we actually can trademark our characters.
This was, I came in the comments. I just didn't want it to miss it. I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
we can trademark our characters because the thing is, once we come up with this character's name, the likeness, the backstory, the hunt doesn't own that.
You do.
Yes.
Because they're yours. Okay. So it's like a clown, like the clown face. You can design that face and it is yours forever. So I learned that actually from my hubby. So okay.
I'm gonna name one Bubbles.
in her honor.
In her honor.
I did that totally just because I was like, it's Halloween and I'm gonna sit down and just play with makeup, blood and red and everything. And I came out and Mr. Creep he was like, that's gross. Like he did not.
He was like you need.
He's like, yeah, he does, yeah. That's I'm the creepy, blood, guts, gore. Even though I don't like blood, guts, and gore. So yeah,
right. Not
but
real
Bubbles is cool looking. I like her. The little extra gore here and there.
Ain't never hurt nobody.
Go ahead. What was that?
Say a little bit of blood ain't never hurt nobody.
Yeah, I know. I think that it's application too. I've seen some people and they just put it all over their characters, and I'm like, you just look silly. Like you have to put it where it needs to be. Now, the other part of what you guys do is the horror side, and actually, I met you guys at GhouliCon at a horror convention.
Yeah. What's GhouliCon?
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna show you here in a second. It was all because Nick was wearing a Fit for a King shirt, and all I did was walk up and start talking to you, and I said, "Hey, I noticed you had a Fit for a King shirt on," and we just started talking about music, and you and all of us just started talking about music. It had nothing to do with what we were there for.
We probably I'm a music about horror for like 20 minutes.
Yes. And that's just where we were. So I find it, if you guys, speaking of GhouliCon, let me show you here. So we are Toxic Icon sponsors. Creepy Confidential is a partial sponsor. and you absolutely should check it out. We're all going to be there. Creepy Confidential is going to be a vendor. I'm going to be speaking, and I'm bringing the touch table, as I call it, where we're going to be showing the stone tape theory, so you can add your energy to crystal and iron objects. You can learn about that. So that's GhoulieCon. And we have other events too that we're going to be going to. But speaking of horror, what is your favorite horror movie? I know that's a loaded question. If you had to pick one, you were only ever allowed one horror movie, what would it be?
So before we answer this, I will say I always get a kick out of this question for Yerrty and I, because Yerrty and I are very strong on what our favorite horror movies are.
Okay.
And I can almost bet money that I know what Yerrty is gonna say, and I'm sure vice versa.
Okay.
But Yerrty,
should you guys try and guess each other's movie first?
We should try.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. My guess for Yerrty G is The Shining.
Okay. And Yerrty, what do you think his is?
The Shining and Pet Sematary.
Only one. What do you think? If he had to pick one.
Pet Sematary.
Okay. What's your favorites, both of you?
The Shining.
Pet Sematary. Absolutely.
Hot dog.
Hot diggity dog.
And look, the funny part is
and they're both Stephen King.
Oh. Funny thing is I'm very strong on The Shining, but after so many rewatches and my love for this franchise, Evil Dead 2013 has knocked The Shining to number 2 for me. I know.
Wow. So speaking of scary movies, someone else is trolling.
Oh,
I just saw it in the comments, so I have to say.
R.I.P. Stu.
I think these two are going back and forward in the comments. So that's a whole conversation. The Shining. I actually did not see The Shining until I was an adult, and it was kind of a slow burn, but it was interesting. You know, because it's a Kubrick film, so they're kind of like, okay, come on, let's go. You know, at least in my mind. Sorry, but it was. Now I think I like it more that I'm older. It's a 41-year-old.
Okay, so look, have you seen Dr. Sleep or read the book yet?
I have not. I remember I saw that they were making a movie out of it, and I have not read any Stephen King books, which I picked one up. I think I did because I wanted to give him a try.
So this is an unpopular opinion, but Dr. Sleep is better than The Shining. From a storytelling standpoint.
Okay. Does it do a good job like the visuals were in The Shining?
Yes, especially because technology is better.
Well, sure. You know, but I like that The Shining was pretty much all real. You know, they weren't digital, so it was cool.
I mean, so it was I want to say 98% practical.
That's good, especially for modern movies. They use digital for everything.
So I really like practical effects. So I went to go see Alien Romulus when it came out back in I think August.
Mr. Creep just watched that.
That was about 95% practical.
Yeah, I was like, nope. Nah.
Like Fed Alvarez, he actually had them build the sets. He had them build the xenomorph also.
Mm-hmm. It's why, I mean, and you know what? That's probably why it looks so good. Because it was the steam and the wet and the movement, and that's probably why it was really cool looking.
I mean, there was a little CGI, like you can kind of tell like, on in certain scenes, but like I said, for the most part, the actual xenomorph was practical. And if I could be wrong, but I believe that a few of them were puppets and a few of them were actual costumes.
That's crazy. And because because costumes, I feel like seams are a problem. Whenever you move your armpits or you move your like you can always tell where the seams were. So they did a great job.
They did a great job. Only certain studios should resort to CGI. Like Marvel needs CGI.
Right, to make it, because it's magic, you know. I think so. So Nick, what about your Pet Cemetery? Is there like, now I have not seen it, but I love the song that Ice Nine Kills did.
What?
I have not seen it.
You never seen it?
You gotta watch it.
No.
There's something about, I know, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, but I am just I'm such an atmospheric person, and any movie can create an atmosphere. Any horror movie can create an atmosphere. But when you're talking about Pet Cemetery, which I'm pretty sure was 89 or 80, I think. I want to say 1990. That
a long while ago.
Just that ambiance around it, the opening scenes and things like that were just, it was awesome, man.
Amazing.
I don't know. It gives me, Stephen King is able to kind of create an atmosphere that I don't think a lot of other writers can create. Anybody can create one, but a Stephen King atmosphere when you get it.
Yeah. Even like myself, who hasn't read them all or seen them all, I can usually guess this is probably a Stephen King book.
Right.
That's interesting. You guys you started at the same time, really. You both chose Stephen King movies. Are you guys are you sure you're not related? Like related?
Yeah, there might be some bloodline there.
Bloodline.
Right? And I remember I wrote mine down just because I was curious what y'all's were. So for me, I didn't choose these. Movies like that at the time when they came out, I was either too young or I just couldn't appreciate them. For me, I love the original Fright Night movies, but the second one I love the most because the woman is the sister. His sister comes back, and I was like, sister. I'm a total nerd, like geek looking girl. That's what I want to look like that.
See, it was the Lost Boys for me on the vampire side.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
I've always loved vampire movies. I think that's a staple now. I think everybody has to see it or should see it.
Just don't watch the sequels.
Oh yeah, those were awful. So I think now, Yerrty, this next question, I mentioned this to you at Horror Hound, and I really wanted to get it more into the setting so we could talk about it. Now, when you guys go to an attraction as a patron, not as an actor, you're going as a patron and you want to go to the Darkness or even one you haven't been to before. In your group, where are you? Are you in the front, the middle, or the back? Which one do you prefer?
I prefer to be in the front.
In the front, so you want to see it first.
Yeah,
you want to get the scare.
And see, my thing is, I think Nick can attest to this also. We don't try to attract that, they work at the Darkness attention. So I never wear a Darkness hoodie. Majority of the time when we go to hunts, I don't even wear a Toxic Icon hoodie because I don't want it to be, well, now we know they're here. I just want to show like I'm a regular paying customer.
Yep. Don't give them fuel. No name, no nothing.
And it has happened before where we have shown up to a hunt and they recognize us as Toxic Icon, and it was called out over the radio. Hey, Toxic is walking through right now, and we want you all to give them. And like, that's cool because, right? Like, so it's like cool, but I definitely agree with what Yerrty is saying. We try to refrain because in hunt culture, it is respectable and people like to wear their stuff, when you go to other attractions. But we want the
wear creepy stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
It's just,
and so when it comes to a group in the haunted house, personally, I want the back. And the reason that I want the back is because theoretically, whoever I'm within my group, I want to see how well their actors are on timing and hit points in a group. If there's a group of 10, you don't hit 1 and you don't hit 10, but you hit in between 4 and 5 because you get everybody on each side of the group.
Right.
And I want to see how that rolls. And then also taking my time to look at everything around the attraction too.
Yeah, I feel like you're in the front, you kind of you're getting pushed.
Yeah.
It blows the scare, and B, you're getting pushed.
Well, see, I kind of veer off though. I'll veer off just a little bit. That way I can get that first jump scare, and then I'm probably running through the house anyway,
Right?
Because it's like it's hard to scare me. It is very hard to scare me. But I don't, I'm not the asshole customer. Oh, you're not scary. You can't scare me. No, because those type of customers.
Those are the ones that are actually scared. They're just chicken.
Yeah, actors don't
It's a
deserve
mechanism.
that. They don't deserve that at all.
And it's disrespectful.
Yeah, and it's like they want that clout out of their friend group to be like, well, yeah, see, he couldn't scare me. And 9 times out of 10,
no, you were being a butthead.
yeah, 9 times out of 10, they were about ready to pee on themselves.
Yep. And I hated that too, because it's like, I'm not gonna waste my like scare on you. I'm gonna look and see which one's scouring. That's the or cowering. That's the one I want.
See, that's one thing about Nick and I. We will roast you if you try to get off on us.
Yeah.
Like we will roast you to the point that you cry or you get mad and want to fight because you try to embarrass me. So now you're gonna get embarrassed.
Yeah, it's like standby to standby.
Yeah.
So there was a question again that came in from Ghost Dog that I just pinned here so that we don't miss it. It says, which is better, original or remake of Pet Sematary? I can't speak on this. What about you guys?
Original, all that.
Original. Remake isn't terrible, but sometimes you just got to go with the nostalgic choice.
Yeah.
So
I figured that's what you guys were gonna say.
Yeah.
Now, this is a backup.
It just
talking about the end here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
So for me, the remake, it just didn't do it. And like this isn't even a comparison. It's just it wasn't as strong of a story as the original for one. And it was a shorter film as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's always a red flag from horror movies. If they're shorter, if they're PG-13, you kind of know what you're getting.
Yeah. I wanted, because I was like, I want to see what they say. We recently watched the new one, and I had seen most of the old one before, and it's long. I have a hard time sitting still that long. But but that's part of the experience. It's like The Shining. It's 5,000 hours long, but you have to go through it. Like it's just what you have to do. Now, this was a follow-up to the question of where would you be in the grouping. Ghost Dog says, I like the back always because I end up being the shepherd or the tail gunner. So he's kind of doing this, And then Miss Joanna says she likes the middle is the place with a good hood over her head. You are the one that I am gunning for.
That is such a common misconception about patrons within a haunted house is that when you talk, like if you bring this topic up to people that have no experience with haunted attractions, they will tell you, I want to be in the middle because the person in front is going to see everything before I do, and the person in the back is gonna get it too, and they're going to get followed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that at all.
We want you in the middle every single time. And they don't realize it.
That is so, because that's the group has already discussed it. The one in the front is going to be the one to take the hit, and the one in the back is going to be protecting the ones in the middle, just like he said, the shepherd. So I mean, personally, I rarely went for the tail ends. I was like, the middle of the sandwich.
You can't forget about the one that you can't forget about the one that stands there every time they get scared and they stop the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy. I know. I always felt I feel bad now because I was like, I liked the kids. So I'm like, if you're gonna bring your little kid in here, sorry, boo. You're gonna take
fair
one for the
game.
team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, some of the smaller children are more brave than the parents are.
The young kids nowadays are buttheads, though. They say language. I mean,
They don't
name it. I'm like, I want to take you out back and
and they don't even want to take a picture with you. Like they just want you to do a TikTok dance with them.
That's it.
Yeah. Dance monkey dance. That's all it is. It's just dance monkey dance. Yeah. I'm trying to make sure we didn't miss any comments. No. Maybe I'll come back in a minute. Okay. So now, that's, I think you have to have several seasons under your belt kind of throughout the years. Now, haunted houses, when you go through them, do you tend to go like you're just gonna like try to ignore everything that you know, or do you tend to go, oh my god, that's a missed opportunity, it's a fake dead body. They could have put a real one there. It would have scared everybody. Look at that blank corner over there. Or there's a grate with a scrim and there's nobody behind it slamming their hands, right? And you're like, or there's no like that air noise. Psh,
Oh,
like,
the air cannons, yes.
Because it's perfect. Okay. Do you tend to go through and you are able to block that out and not critique? Or
it's hard not to critique. It's very hard not to critique. But if I do, I'll say it to myself, because once again, I dislike asshole customers, so I don't want to be that customer.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'll just say it to myself, like, dang, like there was nobody for these last 4 rooms. Maybe it's break time, or maybe they're short staffed and they got one person running 5 or 6 rooms. So I try to take all these things to account, because once the pandemic happened, that kind of put a damper on staff at all 100 houses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
so.
For
me, I would say what Yerrty said. It is hard to not critique, but also one thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is that over 80% of haunted houses within the United States are volunteer, and so majority of the haunted houses that you will attend have a volunteer aspect behind it. So the numbers may be fat on Friday night, but if everybody got sick because they went too hard Friday night and they're not back on Saturday, it could always look different. Yeah. But I will say I love the environment that haunted houses can create, within, like, you're just in a warehouse, but then you go into this whole immersive environment.
Yeah.
What you try to ignore is what you end up seeing, and you store it in your mind, or especially if it's just Yerrty and I going through, we'll be like, oh, that's definitely an actor hole right there. This is a nice hide spot right here. And not really dang, there's nobody back there. Y'all don't have anybody, but just like, oh man, if I was in here, I would hide right there. Or can I climb up there? We do a lot of that. And so that's kind of how I am in the haunted house. And then also just really taking in the atmosphere, because their stuff started on the drawing board too.
Yeah. And I figured, like, I'm a paying patron, like I want to give me the show, give it to me. And they had this really cool junkyard one in not Wisconsin, in Washington, and it was during the day, like regular, not the season. It was a active using junkyard, but they used the whole inside, which was this big metal building, and then you went out into the junkyard, and they had taken cars and like put them in the ground, but the top, like the back seat, was out of the dirt, and they would hide people in there, and the windows were all dirty, so it would look like people were like zombies on the inside.
See, that's awesome. That's immersive.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I like that.
I loved it. I was like, because they would hide them in between like bumpers and things like that. Oh, like perfect. You'd wait in line for 3 hours and it was worth it.
Yep. Absolutely.
So we do have another question. Have you ever had a customer trying to scare other customers? And that comes from Ghost Dog.
Yes. But for the most part, they try to scare us.
Yeah.
Once again, it kind of goes back to, hey, watch, I can scare him.
Yeah. People are just.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's it.
You just want to pop them.
I will say, to answer that question, I think Yerrty and I have been the customer trying to scare other customers more than anybody else. I know for a fact, anytime we get in a haunted house that's not ours, especially if we aren't acting, there's just something that hits, and we got to at least get somebody. Like, we have to try, especially like Halloween Horror Nights or something like that, walking around the scare zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do it in the scare zone, but not inside the house, though. I don't want to get banned from
1,000 people out there. You guys will know the difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's true. I've never seen the customers trying to scare. I've never seen the customers trying to scare other customers, though. I think it's just, I always just feel the sizzle, like, oh, I could be doing this. So, but I never was a paid haunt actor. I liked to do volunteer work. For me, it was fun. I didn't want to have somebody that was, that paycheck could go to somebody else. I was a vet tech at the time, so it was like, just take me on as another, this is what I can do. But
you was like, coming to the darkness this year to work? That's what I heard.
Right. Well, that would be fun. But that's
Come
a long
on,
ways
Bubbles.
away. That's a long ways away. I still got a day job, so it's a little different. But that does sound like fun.
Friday, Saturday night.
People are buttheads now, though. They are. We already went that one. Here we go. So this was speaking of building characters. So you guys have seen, I like to just build characters for fun. And every Halloween, I build a new one because it's my chance. I get it all out for 1 year. If you could have hair, makeup, wardrobe at your disposal, anything, what character are you dreaming of building?
Okay. So I would be a modern variation of Billy from Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
Either.
That was right out of left. That's awesome. Okay.
Because
with the whole would you do would your gag be to cut your mouth open and everything come out?
Yes. But look, instead of blood, it would be blood, maggots, worms, all of that.
Oh, so you're making it like realistic gross, like fresh dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess you could say matter of fact, like a different take on Frankenstein, so to speak.
Yeah, kind of.
And I would have the wild hair and everything.
Mm-hmm. All right, in that time period and everything.
Yeah, I would definitely go back to that time period.
You like that, post-Renaissance? Okay.
See, I would make him kind of like a hobo. Like I would have one shoe on and one sock on the other foot.
Right, like the rats ran off with the other one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I like that.
And
you gotta put some gangly toes on your feet, though. I mean, I don't know how good your toes are now, but
a lot of injuries in 23 years. So
I wouldn't even need any makeup for my feet.
And then look, I would have the cat Binks. I would have him on my shoulder.
Nice. I truly did not expect that character.
That's honestly one of my favorite movies. Like
I love that.
Because even though it was Disney, it was a little bit on the horror side.
Sure. Yeah, the whole, killing children thing, throwing body parts in the cauldron. That's kind of intense.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? Anything at your disposal? Hair, makeup, wardrobe.
Anything at my disposal. Honestly, Yerrty, you really brought up Disney, and so here's the thing. Disney allows you, no matter how old you are, it allows you to be as magical and creative as you would like.
I agree.
And I have always been absolutely obsessed with the Haunted Mansion, and I would be a modern day Master Gracie.
Oh my gosh.
Grave digger type of character, because Noel, you did see that picture that Yerrty and I did. We did a photo shoot in the haunted house, and I wore a top hat and a skull mask and a suit because I was trying to at that time build a new character, and I wanted to go in the grave digger kind of realm of things. I've done the slaughterhouse. I know I can handle that. I know I can do it, but this is something that's more sinister, a little more creepy. Something I'm gonna have to use dialogue. My size isn't going to be my only tactic. It's a challenge. And that old Victorian style, man, I don't know.
What I saw in your pictures, it was real clean. Like the hat was very clean and the clothes were really clean. Would you want it in that? Or would you, how can I use it as an example? Kind of like my Haunted Bride, where it's very faded and misty looking with makeup and that kind of thing. Would you want it to be like, which one would you go that route, or would you keep it really clean but really skeleton, almost like how they made was those live action movies, how they make it really clean looking instead of less ghosty, less Disney?
Right. They don't.
I think I'm gonna go in the Disney route. I want to be as ghostly as possible,
where they look like it has a mist on them.
Absolutely. If there was a way to really reimagine that, then I would go in that direction, because clean is always good.
Yeah,
right.
Victorian. Clean is always good, but when you're doing a character like that, you gotta drive it in full.
Yeah, I because I'm such a build, like I love, that's my favorite part is building, and I'm always interested in how you imagine it, like how people imagine their characters.
Yep.
Another good question from the audience: do haunt actors have groupies?
I plead the fifth.
Okay, well, I mean,
to answer your question, Ghost Dog, certain haunt actors have groupies, but I think every haunted house, doesn't matter who you go talk to, every haunted house needs a reality show, because the high school level of drama that's going on in that actor room
the house, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's not even a groupie thing, but it's just, you got to think about it. And honestly, it happens within the younger kids that work at the haunted house, because you got people that are of around our age, but you also have the high school kids that are just there for fun, little extra change. And you're at the haunted house every weekend from September all the way through the beginning of November. And then depending on how popular your haunt is, you're open every night during the week too. That is a lot of time spent together.
The love boat.
Exactly. It's the love boat. Yeah, exactly.
The love haunt.
It ends up happening. My advice would be, don't fall in love with the haunt. But I can only know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, about nothing.
So, as Ghost Dog says, I didn't say him. We won't say who. But he just said haunt actors. Because Mr. Creep has been kept abreast on the current issues within, us. Anyway, have you seen? Oh, here's another one. This is a good one. What have you seen changes in haunt culture the most over the years? Oh my! It is so, even between what you guys filmed for your content versus what I remember, night and day. Just that little quick little smidgy that I saw. So I'm curious what you're there every day. What do you?
I would say it's more social media driven.
Okay.
Because back then, when I started, up until I'll say probably around 2012, 13 maybe, you better not have your phone out while we're working. Now they encourage,
it's appreciated now.
Yeah. Now they encourage recording while you're scurrying groups and everything.
They want you take pictures of what you're doing. This is who you're going to see. Come get this guy. The guys in the camera are sliding with his little knee sparks. Like everything is content. Everything.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Like back then, it used to be looked at as, oh, they're just on their phone and not working. Now it's looked at as they are promoting themselves and the hunt.
Yeah, you're making both people money, so they're okay with it.
Exactly.
Last time I was at a haunt, it was the BlackBerry. So that'll tell you how long ago it was. I have done other things. I haven't done any acting since then.
To be honest with you, I would say that haunt culture has changed in a few different ways. And the main one that I see is that actors are not necessarily allowed to be as creative as we once were able to be.
Right. It's like, this is the box, you will live in it.
There's more of a box now. There are a lot of ideas that people have where it's just kind of like, yeah, you could do that, but you should do this instead, or maybe that might not go over. There are a lot of different factors to it, and I'm not, trying to bash on anybody or anything like that, but I just feel like now there's just so many limitations, especially with things like social media being really a double-edged sword, because people can love that highlight of you scaring outside the haunted house, but maybe you did something or you moved a certain way that offends somebody that lives 15,000 miles away from the haunted house.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right.
And here comes the bad Google review, and now people are questioning, because this is a real thing. I do feel like it has changed in that aspect. Also, just back in the day, you used to just walk up to the haunted house and buy your ticket and go in, but now everything is so digital. And people don't even really want to buy tickets because they're like, oh, well, we can go on YouTube and watch a full walkthrough, and We love the
Blows my
walkthroughs
mind.
because
Yeah,
you know
that's the whole
we're able
point.
to see haunted houses we can't get to. But
Well, and there's something to it. You get the smell, you get the noises, you get what you see, you get
Yep.
the temperature. Like it's literally this all the senses.
right,
You are not going to get that on a YouTube.
you get all of it.
Yeah. See, I like the walkthroughs specifically because when it comes to hunts that I've thought about going to or I really wanted to, it'll push me to go more now.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and and make
like-
them like go to the next.
Yeah, like
Come see us.
like a lot of the videos that Scare Factor and Sharp Productions make, it allows me to live previous years that I couldn't have made it to.
Yeah.
Always go back and relive that experience. You know, like especially Noel. You know, we are huge on Halloween Horror Nights at Toxic Icon. Like
You guys are always talking about that.
if it could be like when there's a blizzard outside and we can't even leave the house.
Like,
All right, you know
well,
what?
Halloween Horror Nights.
I'm gonna go to HHN real fast.
Right, yeah, because like me, I've been going to HHN since 2013, back when Express wasn't even really a big deal. But now HHN is so popular, it's so immersive, it's such a top tier event that you have to have Express, you have to have Scream early. And then if you're a person who is, I don't really know how to put it. Like if you're more hotel driven versus Airbnb, you're more than likely going to get a universal package, which means you're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's even just what you told us, like how much you spent or this and that. I was like, okay, that's what you save up for. That's your Christmas, for your Super Bowl. Like I call incarceration. That's my Super Bowl. I save up for
incarceration.
it and I go, right. I am a music nut. It is what resets my brain. So for whatever
this year?
So I don't think Mr. Creep's gonna go, but I really want to go see Slipknot.
Well, let me know. Britt and I will be there.
Because that's like I've seen them every year now. It's kind of become my thing.
Absolutely.
And I think Manson's that day, so I'm really excited about that.
Marilyn Manson?
I think so.
I've never seen him live. I want to though.
Me neither. Why isn't this clicking? We have, and especially now that he's out of his, he's not in so much drama.
Exactly, and he's not acting as much anymore either.
Yeah, and I think that's helped. He looks healthier too. So there's a question and it won't let me click on it. It says, will GhouliCon have haunt actors there?
Yes, there will be haunt actors.
There will be haunt actors. We are definitely in talks with a bunch of different haunt actors that we know and trying to make sure that we can get everybody there, but we will definitely get them there. No doubt. And Yerrty, I feel like we lost Noel for a second. So we're talking about GhouliCon with.
There she goes.
You're back.
Just ended it.
Captain Creep.
No, haunt actors will definitely be at GhouliCon. We are trying to figure out how many of them that are going to be there doing actual, cosplay and having their costumes on. And we're also currently working on getting people together for a panel that is all about the life of haunt acting and comparing and contrasting different experiences.
Yeah. So that'd be cool. Cause I always enjoy hearing different, like what you guys go through as actors and what you're working on. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And I got rid of my posters. I was going to show posters. So Mike says, take care of her. Says I'm going to be at incarceration.
We got you.
She is in good hands, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah. I have.
Her and Britt will have girl talk, and I will be moshing.
I promise not to go crowd surfing because I would not feel safe without him there.
Man.
I've done that already, and now I feel like I got it out of my system.
Exactly, you did it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, and it was terrifying and the craziest, coolest thing I've ever done, and they didn't drop me, so I was happy about that.
Okay, so I gotta say, I was happy that y'all made the trip to come down here.
What?
Oh my gosh,
It was fun.
yeah. That was so
thank
cool.
you.
And like, we really appreciate you because not everybody's able to, travel, but even if you are able, it's really, you got to have the want to come down, you
Yeah.
know? And that was just so cool to see y'all in the studio with us.
And having
Greg!
Yeah, I know it's towards the end, and now it looks like we got a couple more people. I wanted to show again, which I showed it earlier. So this is GhouliCon because I've come to my questions. I didn't get to. I'll do some quick questions at the end here. So all of us, including Coven of Screams, which is in the comments. GhouliCon is going to be coming up in July. The actual con takes place the 12th and the 13th. You will see all of us that you see here today will be there. And as if that's not enough, speaking of haunt actors, I'm putting mine together. I may be changing my mind on who you see at the Hexcellence Awards. So also very important. So this is an award show for horror content creators, but you will also see Madam Creep there, which if you have seen on Toxic's page, she predicted that they would be going to GhouliCon. So very, very important. I wanted to make sure that I plug those things because you guys are all in part of what we do. Last few things, because we just got to gabbing. These are the quick because this is Creepy Confidential, where we cover cryptids, cults, conspiracies, and otherworldly creepy. Consider this the speed round, shall we?
Ooh.
Favorite cryptid for both of you. This can mean Bigfoot, Mothman, Jersey Devil, whoever. Who is your favorite cryptid, if you have one?
Could it be a cryptid that you may not know of?
Of course.
Okay, I'm gonna go with a local St. Louis legend, and that is the Bubbleheads. And I will send you some more information on the Bubbleheads if you have not heard of them. But to give you a speed round, so to give you the long story short, there is a house on Carrico Road. It's around the corner from where I'm at right now. It is cut off to the public, and legend has it there's a family that has been living there for the past 30 or 40 years, and that they all had a different sort of kind of disease that has made their heads blow up to astronomical size. And that back in high school we used to go over there after homecoming and get caught by the police, and it was a whole thing. So that would be my biggest cryptid.
Ohio has the Ohio melon heads, and I did an episode on them. I got into what the one that you mentioned, the Bubbleheads. Very similar lore. So
yeah, okay. So yep.
Very, very similar. What about you, Yerrty? Cryptid. Favorite cryptid?
I would actually say a Yeti. I've never seen a real Yeti on camera or anything.
Like a specific one, or you just like the Yeti race in general? Because there are many
Yeti
of them.
race.
Okay.
I've never seen anything on Discovery Channel or anything about Yetis.
Okay. So because of course the most famous footage is of Patty, and that's from back in the day. And that's the Bigfoot. Pretty much every Bigfoot pose you see is back over in California. And that's the only footage that we've ever received. So very interesting. Okay. Next one. Have you ever seen a UFO? So like the actual ship, and if you did, where, time, and shape?
I wish that I have seen it.
I don't.
Either one? Okay. That's not uncommon. Lots of people have never seen it. So.
No.
Yeah.
But I will say that I would like to come on here again as Toxic Icon, and now that we've talked about the hunt, I want to talk about all things UFOs and aliens. I find that stuff so interesting.
Yes. Well, you're in the right place.
Now, of course,
even just like comets falling out of the sky, like you never see where they hit, but
how would y'all react if you saw a UFO just over your house right now at this very moment?
I'd grab the camera immediately. Camera. Type. Shape. Where's it going? Note the time.
In the basement.
And then I would get on to there's a huge federal database, and I would type in everything that I had seen.
Yep.
That's what I would do. I mean, I've seen one, but I was a little kid. So, all right, paranormal. Have you ever had a paranormal experience? Shadow figure? Have you seen one? A mist, or disembodied voice? Or I would also count where, like, what is that? Where you're frozen, you can't move, and you're sleeping. Sleep paralysis. I think you told me a story.
Yeah, I experienced sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm. What about you? I don't think you answered that when we were talking about it, Nick.
For me, more of a, I've experienced a dream, but I've also experienced certain just like energy at a certain time, thought,
Okay.
thought, and then certain things that are happening, but indefinite recollection to that person's personality, things that I knew about.
So you knew the person was gone, like not on this realm.
Yes.
Gone. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. I know. Most of it was just about talking about what you guys do in Haunt Actors. So I'm glad you participated in my speed round.
We love the speed round.
So thank you. I know we kind of gotten to the end here. I've kept you guys a little longer than anticipated, but we had some good conversation. And for everybody who's watching or listening, because this will become an audio podcast as well, one of our episodes, all of Toxic Icon's information is going to be linked in either the podcast description so that you can find all of their information, watch their videos, and listen to their podcasts, or if you're watching this later on YouTube, because this will go into our permanent episode archives, we'll also link all of the information below. We've worked with Toxic Icon in the past, and undoubtedly, I hope that you will see Creepy Confidential with Toxic Icon in the future. So,
You will.
Before we leave, do you have anything specific that you guys would like to plug?
Obviously, GhoulieCon is a force to be reckoned with, and we're working really hard, and we want you all to come out and experience it. But also, from a Toxic Icon standpoint, everything that you want to find Toxic Icon wise, you go to our link tree. We will be at Hillside House of Hell on May the 10th this year for their Glow Night event. We are bringing the cameras with us, suiting up in different characters, and getting ready to unhand some nightmares on the crowd all night long. So definitely keep going to the YouTube and run up those episodes, Radioactive Road shows, all of it. It's all there.
Those are super fascinating. I love those. I hope you guys do more.
Yes.
The Radioactive Roadshow.
We love that.
What about you, Yerrty? Anything you want to plug to the Creep Nation?
Well, first things first. Tomorrow, I will be at Days of the Dead in Chicago. May 3rd, we have not confirmed yet, but there's I forgot exactly what the horror con is, but it's in Chicago.
Galaxy Con, Nightmare Weekend.
Yep, that's what it is. Nightmare Weekend, Chicago. We were talking about May 3rd.
Very cool.
And, May 16th, as most of you that tune in to Toxic Icon know, I am an artist. I have my solo headline show out here at Pops in Sauget, Illinois, aka the backyard of St. Louis.
I like that analogy.
And then also
make sure you all come out for that too.
And also for everyone that's going to GhoulieCon, my new metal band, the Rebels, MF, will be headlining GhoulieCon.
Very cool. Yeah, so you'll have plenty to listen to, plenty to see. You can come talk to us. I'm very excited.
And I will do everything I can to summon bubbles.
Well, I have to stand at the table all day and make people happy, so I don't know if bubbles will come. I'll scare everybody off.
I'll send my first guy over to your table.
Okay. All right, everybody. I thank everybody for our Toxic Icon fans and friends, and also for the Creep Nation for stopping by. We've had a couple people stop in, leave us comments, and by all means, check this on the replay. Everything will be up at creepyconfidential.com. You can get merch, you can check out the events, and you can check out what we have coming in the future. So thank you so much, guys. This was an absolute blast.
I appreciate you having us. And Stu is dead.
And Creep Nation. If you're a part of Creep Nation, you need to come join the Icon Nation. Just join both. There's great things happening. Come join both.
Absolutely.
The
All right,
top
guys, hang
station.
on, and I'm gonna take us out. All right.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
Oh.